people above me, before my generation before me, have started to pass away. My aunt passed away. Brian's dad, my husband's dad, passed away. My dog died, and then my mom passed away. And actually, my mom and Brian's dad both dementia, Alzheimer's related. And I think about my own mortality and medicine. The advances, we're going to live a lot longer. And I thought to myself, well, if I'm living longer, I want to have quality of life as well. I had 2 herniated discs in my neck, and lifting things over my head hurt. So that was my first goal, was longevity and the quality of my life. Did I want to lose a couple of pounds? Yeah, I did. So that was part of it too. My mobility is certainly better when I lost 15, 20 pounds. And then I also, for some reason, started getting sugar cravings. I'm 54, so this was when I was at 53. And I couldn't stop. If I had one piece, I'd have more and more and more and more. So that's what started me. And I looked, and there are tons of different peptides besides the GLPs, 1 and GLP-2. One for my neck, I took BPC 175, and I was able to recover because I want to lift heavier, especially as we get older. It's important to lift heavier weights. And I found like I was hurting my neck doing anything above my shoulders and my head. So that certainly helped. But the minute I took the GLP-1s, the day after, food noise stopped altogether. I totally felt like I was losing inflammation in my body. I know I could kind of feel like in my lymph nodes, especially in my arm for some reason, like I felt a little swollen. That immediately went away. My sugar cravings immediately went away. So I started with the GLP-1s, and I did 3, it comes in 3 months supply. And I had lost that initial 15 pounds in those 3 months. I went to my cardiologist because no fault of my own. You know, I work out, I eat right. I still was getting high cholesterol, and I did a scan, calcium scan, and I have calcium in the heart, and they said it's all hereditary. It's nothing, you know, and listen, we've all made bad choices, but I don't think it's because of my bad choices. It was mostly hereditary, and so my cardiologist loves that I'm on this. And I see myself, so I did the microdosing, which is just a little bit. I microdose now because I want my systems to work properly. I want to live a very long time, but I also want to be healthy while I'm living for a longer amount of time. So it's been 10, 11 months now. Like I said, I tried the one for the muscle repair and joint repair, and I love that. I think I'll go back on that one. And I just started NAD, so I'll see how I like NAD. The NAD is great for energy, and just all this is cellular health. And I do believe that it's making a difference. So I'm going to continue, and I'm going to try and try. The next one I'm going to try is yeah, and that's supposed to help with hair and skin. So, and I know when I pull my hair back now, I can see a little more going back this way. So that's why I want to improve my hair and my skin, because obviously that's going to go as I age also. So. If I'm open to any questions, anybody have any questions at the end, feel free to talk to me. More than happy. I'm an open book. I don't mind talking to people about my weight, about whatever you want to know, any function in the body, I'll tell you.
Thank you, Megan. Thank you. Okay.
Hi, everybody. I'm Megan Margiotti. I have been with LEMD now about a year and 2 months. Like Megan, I had some really pretty bad issues. I had stage 1 in the uterus, ductal, melanoma. Like I just kept going through like crazy things in my life. I started on another brand of GLP, which was terrible, to try to adjust what was happening in my life. And I found Cindy, and she was like, you have to try this, you have to try this. And I was scared, you know, I was so scared because everything in your body starts shutting down at 50, you know, you're like, oh my God, like, it's just like a book. It was just like a book with me. And I was like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Well, after several calls, I started, and I love it. I got to tell you, I love LEMD. I've been on, I've changed my lifestyle 150%. My husband is on it. He had the Widowmaker heart attack about a year ago, put him on it. Doctor just took him off every medicine. We It's improved our marriage. I mean, we both are healthy. We both love life. We're just trying to be with each other and our son as much as we can, because we're late bloomers with a 14-year-old. So it's lucky I have hair, but I tried everything. I'm on GHK now. I'm on Semarilyn. I'm on NAD. I'm on BPC 500. I was in a bad car accident, so I had neck and arm, and I've also been a barber for like 20, oh my God, 27 years. And I have tennis elbow, and I've been on 1 year now with the BPC, but I will not live without it. I've actually ran out, and I'm behind right now, so when I get home, I'm gonna reorder that. Changes you. You know, the weight loss is perfect. That's a lot. I'll be 54 in June. I continue to lose, but I'm kind of crazy. I belong to 3 gyms. There's more motivation for me. I never sit down and I never stop talking. And I am an open book also. If there's anything you need to know, you know, about LEMD and GLP, I am on GLP-1, GLP-1 slash GIP. Tirzepatide. I let it due tomorrow. I'm like, tomorrow, Saturday, I gotta get my shot. Because, you know, you get to that point where you're like, you know where it is. And I've had such a crazy week because it's the holidays, and I'm cutting everybody's hair in Bucks County right now. I need the NAD. The NAD has kept me going. My inflammation is 100% gone, and love it. I mean, you guys will love it too. Needles don't scare me. My stepfather was a diabetic, so I watched him prick his finger my whole life and do insulin. So don't be scared. Don't be scared. You don't want to be scared. What is it like? People I work out with at my gym, they're all scared. Like, why are you scared to feel better? You know, I was tired of being the woman going, I'm tired. Are you tired? My back hurts. My legs hurt. You know, I'm always so tired. I just want to go to bed and watch the Housewives and Kardashians. That's where I was. I was a couch potato, but now I don't stop. I just keep going and going and going. And I do attribute to this company because they're amazing, and our meds are amazing. They are different from what's out there, you know, and you have telepath, you have everything at your fingertips. So I highly suggest 100%, just give it a try. Thank you.
A little brief intermission with the testimonies, and I'm going to have our Lady Joy, the peptide expert, Beth Greaves, share a little bit with us on Zoom about her journey and how she started with peptides and her journey with LAMD. So, Beth, can you hear us okay? I think I see that you're muted.
Does she need control of the computer? Or the
Yep.
Zoom?
There you go. Welcome, welcome to Philly.
Thank you. Well, I want everybody to stand up. I'm a second grade teacher, or was. So, okay, now like everybody shake your body out, shake your hands. Those of you that are on BPC 157, jump up and down a little bit because your knees can handle it. Okay, and sit back down. Had to get you moving a little bit. And so thank you for having me on. I have present wrapping going on in the background. So I was turning 45, and I didn't know, no one was talking about perimenopause. And I had just bought my 5th pair of Target stretch pants because nothing else was fitting. Does anybody relate to like, oh, all of a sudden I was like, oh, I look so, so sporty in my stretch pants. It was really because I just didn't have jeans that would fit. And I remember sitting on my bed, and I had just I thought, well, a new haircut might change it all. So I had seen Posh, and she had this cute little bob. Did not look like that on me. And my husband was walked in the room, and it was dark, and I can relate. I didn't hear your name, but I was 40 when I had my second son. So at 46, I think it was 46, I had a 6-year-old. So I probably had a lot of hormonal stuff going on. And my husband's like, what in the world? You used to be so vibrant. You used to want to get up and do things. What can I do to help you? And all I could think of was hair extensions. So he's like, whatever it takes. Well, I'll tell you that the $2,000 of hair extensions did nothing. I just had bad hair. And I was still wearing those Target pants. So um, what happened from 46 to 56 is that I went from doctor to doctor to doctor. I was put on an antidepressant. I did some hormone replacement therapy, but I that helped me a little bit, but it wasn't helping what was going on with my metabolic damage and just constant thoughts about what is wrong with me. Why can't I lose this weight? I think I invested over, gosh, I think it was probably over $20,000 within 5 years of different trainers, macro coaches, programs. Raise your hand if you can relate to this. And you're like, okay, why is what used to work not working? And so between 46 and 56, I gained 7 to 10 pounds a year. And so I found myself 60 pounds heavier. And I was selling a vitamin supplement, telling people it was going to help them with their weight loss. And so being super discouraged and not having I went to my primary care physician and she's like, I think you just need to get back on Weight Watchers and count those points. And like literally I wanted to like throw my phone with the app at her. And she's like, I can relate. Well, she now loves GLP-1 because I snuck behind her back and I found my own Dr. Sky in town and started on the GLP-1. And I was slow. I was a slow loser. The first month it was 3 pounds, but it was 3 pounds that didn't feel like I was struggling to lose it and gain it, lose it and gain it. And what I noticed was I made the decision when I first started. And if you haven't done this yet, I'll give you guys, um, I turned 60 this year. And I would love for you, if you're getting started on your health journey, your longevity journey, or you're in the middle of it, is write a vision of yourself 10 years from today in terms of what you want your health to look like, how you want your day to look. Will you be lifting weights? Will you be getting up and down on the floor with grandchildren? Maybe you'll be running a marathon. And how will you be dressed? How will you be moving about your day? And I did that when I started on my GLP-1 journey. I wrote a very, very specific vision for what my health would look like 1 year from that day. And because I believe that there's a neuroscience piece of the belief, because I had the programming from a very early age that menopause was just a time when women slowed down and they gained weight. And that you couldn't start new businesses after the age of 50, that this is just the way it is. And so I rewrote that vision about week 3 on GLP-1 of how I wanted my health to look. And I was lean, I was fit, I wasn't obsessed with food. And during the process of and Dr. Sky can speak to this when you are first on a GLP-1 is all of a sudden there's this reprogramming that goes on. Food becomes neutral, food becomes fuel. You don't need car snacks. Did any of you ever like pack your car snacks because you knew you were going to get hungry? And I was like never going to be without food. So I wrote that vision. And as I was going on the GLP-1 journey, I read it every single day. And then I was like, what are the habits of a woman that takes miraculous care of herself? Like, what are the habits? So when I was starting on this journey I think it's been 3 years, I actually wrote it for when I was turning 60. And who was I? How was I moving about the day? And that helped to really dial in the whole piece of the belief of the peptides, because the stories tonight, the testimonials are giving you the belief. Dr. Sky gave you the science, but there's still a part of you that's like, really, could this work for me? That's a huge investment. Why would I? Why would I? I bought GLP-1 from a friend. I paid $2,000 for a small bottle because it was inaccessible. And I didn't use it because I thought, well, what if? And I put all of these fears in my brain. So fast forward, over the next 12 months, I released 60 pounds. I not only released 60 pounds, but I released, I think, generational trauma around body shame, dieting, food noise conversations. And suddenly I found that more and more women were coming to me and they're like, tell me more about what you're doing. I always would obsess when I would see somebody lose weight and I'd be like, oh, you did quick weight loss? Let me sign up for that. Oh, you're doing Weight Watchers? I'm going to do that. Let's count our points. But this felt different because this is all about healing. And so I thought, okay, so a peptide, as Dr. Sky explained, it's just a short chain of amino acids, and there's signaling your body. And so I feel like, and now I'm obsessed with all things peptides. I'll tell you what my stack is. But what I feel like happens when you get started is your body, when it goes through menopause with the inflammation, with the insulin sensitivity, and all of the hormonal chaos that goes on, it turns into like AOL dial-up. And if you're over 50 and you're in that room, you probably remember the first time you signed on to the internet and it like made that noise. And I feel like when you really dial in on your hormones, on your peptides, and then the key is the mindset behind it. Like if you make the decision tonight is what would a woman do who takes miraculous care of herself? Because then we can serve our families, we can be of service to our friends. If you have like me, I have a 21-year-old and I'm 60 years old. So I'm going to do the math and think, I want to be when he is having children, starting a family, whatever it is, he thinks he's gonna be traveling the world as a DJ. I want to be right there. And that's about longevity. And it's okay to have vanity too. It's okay to be like, what's in it for me and the way that I look. I love little Summer Cindy and posing with all of her like when she's working, I'm constantly seeing what outfit she's wearing. And like I just see that confidence in her when she's like putting on these clothes and giving us hope, like, wow, that's what we can do at the age of, I don't know, how old are you, Cindy? Like 12, 14, 16, 20. I don't even think you're 50 yet. So I started on the GLP-1 GIP journey. I went all the way up to, are you telling me how old you are? She walked out. How old are you?
Oh, I
Is she 55?
is on mute. Might have.
Oh, she said 55. She's double fives, which
She's
is
35.
unbelievable. So you guys, so that was just like I call it, my husband calls it the gateway drug, the GLP, GIP. And so I was somebody, and I want to really impress this upon you is, um, with, there are two protocols. There's the weight loss protocol that your doctor network will titrate you up as needed. And then there's the microdosing protocol. Actually, and Dr. Sky could speak to this, I metabolize the medication very quickly. And so my microdose is actually tier 1.5 in maintenance. And I look at my blood work, and when I'm at my very healthiest, I actually am taking 5 milligrams of medication. So what that means is if in my space, I had more than 25 pounds to lose. My BMI qualified me for weight loss, and I did need to titrate up. And so you're able to titrate up with LEMD in the way that feels safe for you, because I was able to minimize side effects, but also increase the dosage for the weight, because that was a lot of increases to release that 60 pounds. And then you find your sweet spot for maintenance. And then I've been going down and down and down in dose for microdosing. And I will never be without a GLP-1 for as long as I'm sure they'll have a next evolution, because now I know about cardiac health, brain health, and for me, it's my mental health. All the antidepressants and all of the things that people are trying to do to help the chaos in my brain, whatever that receptor is, it's pure magic for me, because I felt calm without the chaos. And I've always been in a fight with my body since a very, very early age, from under eating and overtraining at 16 to having my first miracle baby and not even allowing myself to enjoy that time, because I was back to running 2 days after getting home from the hospital. And like, that was just because of the body shame. And so it went from under eating, overtraining to binge eating. And so for me, I have a very different story than just somebody who put on weight. This has been about an entire healing story for me. And so what happened is I couldn't find community. I couldn't find people that like on my GLP-1 journey, I had a great functional medicine doctor, but it was just like the two of us. And I wanted to talk about protein and strength training. And I wanted to share this because I had so many people that were like, oh, that's so shameful. You're stealing medication from diabetics. And so I am excited about this because I just had this idea that I was like, maybe I'll start a Facebook group and we'll chat about GLP-1. And one day I was like doodling and journaling, and I love to think about how I can create communities. And I was like, maybe we'll have like, I don't know, take the shame out of the GLP-1 game. Maybe that's what we need to do because nobody was talking about this in circles, even in menopause circles. This was almost 2 years ago. So I posted in my stories one day that I was just going to take the shame out of the GLP-1 game. I had no idea what was going to happen with that. All I knew is that my friends were looking for education. They were looking for accessibility. I was like, where I went, I had to have over $2,000 of tests and blood work. I was paying a lot of money for the medication. And they were getting it from like black gray market, mixing things up in their garage like they were the mad scientist. And so I was just looking for a place that I could trust so that I could refer my friends and they could have doctor supervision. So my brain is entrepreneurial. And I was like, maybe I could get an affiliate link someplace. I don't know. Well, let's see what happens when I put this link in my stories. So not my link, my GLP-1 shame game idea. And it was like divine intervention or beautiful intervention from my friend Sarah Cole, who's going to talk next. She's a CRNA. She is someone who had her own experience with GLP-1. And she's like, hey, Beth, I know you're entrepreneurial minded. We've done some businesses together. And there's this new company. It's called LEMD. Their focus and platform is community, longevity, accessibility. And all of a sudden I was like, this sounds like a dream come true. And that was the day that I got connected to Honey Sagari. And on that Zoom, Gary, who was supposed to be your special guest tonight, he was also on that Zoom. Somebody had asked him to come in and like take a look at what the company was all about because they trusted his guidance. And that was the day that this whole movement started because I just was like, let's put this out there. And Sarah said, I think we should take a look at this. So since then, I was able to then get more education from things like having experts in our field, like Dr. Sky, learning about, there's this incredible, it was an educational series the other night called The Power of Peptides. It was they talked about each of the peptides, like glutathione, NAD, BPC, in a way that the layperson could understand. So I immediately started stacking peptides. Right now, I do glutathione, NAD, GHKCU. I just started on methylene blue, and Dr. Sky, it's like my brain for the first time is seeing things in an organized, systematic way. I actually finished 6 projects today that I've been putting off for the last 4 months, and I had better sleep. So if you haven't, like, can you explain why that happened with methylene blue?
That's amazing. I'm gonna order that one next. I think it has to do with the oxygenation. It helps your cells get more oxygen, which helps with your brain because your brain needs oxygen. So when you get more oxygen to your brain, you're gonna think clearer and have better cognitive function. So that's how it makes sense to me.
I have not had this much focus. I do have to, ladies and gentlemen in the room, I was a little alarmed that your pee is blue. But if you hydrate a lot, it's very light blue. And so I think it's because it probably filters through whatever, the kidneys. You guys, there's so much research on the methylene blue. So that's our latest. So one of the things I love about Ellie and being in this community is like that conversation about what's happening with, and so methylene blue was added in GHKCU. And I also do some BPC 157. So our refrigerator has like Oh, we do the Thrill Pill over at my house too. My refrigerator has like literally 2 shelves of peptides. It's also been an incredible, incredible thing. My husband had a lower right lobectomy this summer. They found very early cancerous nodule in his right lung just because they were looking at a heart scan. And here's what his thoracic surgeon told him. BPC 157, TB 500, and GHKCU post surgery glutathione and methylene blue. I mean, this is like his traditional doctor. And so his recovery has been incredibly fast because of the healing properties of the BPC 157 and also the GHKCU for healing in tissue. And there's no evidence of disease anywhere. So we're so thankful for that and keeping the glutathione going. So my story is just like, I just am someone who is incredibly excited about what can happen after the age of 55 when you start making that commitment to not only using the peptide regenerative therapy, but then stacking the habits that go on top of that. And then I'm going to encourage all of you, if you've not done it, especially if you're in this, what I call the third season, or an empty nest season now, is write that vision out for every single part of your life. And look at the areas of what you want to keep doing. And for me, that was being active, playing tennis, being like, keep continuing with my strength training, stay traveling, connected to incredible women like Cindy and Sky. And then what did I want to start doing? What were some things that I wanted to add to this season of my life? And then what was a stop? This is an absolute stop. This isn't happening. And those are my 3 pillars that I check in with, reading that vision along with these incredible peptides, because you get to write, I call it the ultimate plot twist. People thought I was crazy for starting a new business at 58 years old, learning a new skill set. And it is forever going to change our life because of the health and also the legacy that we're able to leave to our children. So that's my story. I'm so grateful to be on. And I don't know, Cindy, if you want to have Sarah pop on or another testimonial, but thank you for having me. I love Philadelphia. I want one of those sweatshirts that you're wearing. And next time, please tell me you're having this event because I would be in that room. I don't know. It seems kind of cold though. You might have to come to Florida. She is muted still.
Yeah, I'm not sure why, but technical stuff, you know. Sorry, Cindy. Maybe you wanna, I don't know. I don't know how to fix it, but
Well, you know what we can do is, we have Sarah Cole on, so we could move her over to panelist and then have her share. Sarah's got an incredible experience.
yes, I have asked Sarah to come into the panelist a few times. Maybe.
Sarah, get that. She's wrapping Christmas presents. She said, I'm multitasking.
Sarah, hold on. Sarah,
there we go.
hold on a second. We just went
There
to a
she is.
testimonial.
Okay, we did it.
We just went to a testimonial in the room. So give us one.
Oh, you did?
You
Okay.
can hear us now?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes,
here now.
we hear you.
You just jumped up.
Oh. So I'll make this really quick because everybody's.
No, don't make it quick. I love your story.
My name is Stacy. I'm 55 years old, and I've struggled with my weight since I was a little girl. Maybe, I don't know, 10, 11 maybe. I'd like to blame it on my parents' divorce. I don't know, but that's when it started. So, you know, Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig, Nutrisystem, every diet known to man I had been on. So my weight, not very, up and down my whole life. So I'll fast forward, menopause hit, and I was gaining weight, and I was doing the things, I was eating well, I was going to kickboxing, doing my steps, getting everything in, but the weight was coming on, and I was upset. And
I was very self-critical. When you have a weight issue, you just self-criticize all the time. It's not a fun way to live, but it is what it is. So I kept seeing the advertisements for Ozempic and Zepbound and whatever, and I was like, oh, heck, I did Fen-Phen, and I survived. I'm gonna try this. So I went to a local doctor, and they give you the injections, they spend 2 minutes with you, and they send you on your way. And I started to lose a little weight, and I was okay. I had a little nausea from semaglutide, and it was okay, but then I got introduced to Ellie. And what a world of a difference, because you get education, you have community, you have people to talk with, you learn about protein intake, you learn about hydration, and it's not just the injection. There's a lot of stuff that goes with it. I lost 40 pounds on semaglutide, and I was feeling pretty good, so I switched over to the microdosing. I lost an additional 6 more, and I'm off my blood pressure medication. I'm feeling better than I have 15 years ago. I have energy, my cognition is better, I just feel good. And it's worth it to make a change. People are afraid, there's so much fear mongering and misinformation that's out there. But I used to do pharmaceutical market research in my old life, so I knew about the efficacy, I knew about the safety, I knew it was okay. I did my due diligence. And if it's something that you want to do, whether it's microdosing or whether it's weight loss or whatever you need, it's safe, it's effective, and you have this whole team at LEMD and camaraderie and people to go through these steps with you. It's just wonderful. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much.
Sarah, we would love to hear from you now that you're on and joining us as a panel. Sarah is a CRNA in anesthesiology, correct? Did I say that correctly? Okay, so tell us a little bit about your experience with peptides.
Sure. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm honored to just be virtually in this room with all of you guys. But yeah, so my story started about 3 years ago. My background's in anesthesia. I work in a big level 2 trauma center doing 24-hour call. I work in an IVF clinic, a little bit of endo as well. And I've been in just the online business industry for, gosh, over 10 years now, supplementing so I can work a little more part-time, and be home with my son. And about 3 years ago, I was in, a pretty tough spot in my life where I have a very long infertility history as well. We did IVF to have my son. That was great, worked first time. I felt very lucky. And then once he got to be 2 years old, we started trying for our second. And now my son is 9. And it's been a very long journey for us. And with all these failed infertility rounds, working a lot, miscarriages, things like that, I had gained a lot of weight. I barely recognized myself. I was heavier than my heaviest weight when I was pregnant at one point. And it wasn't for a lack of trying. I actually had Beth as a mentor of mine at our previous company. I was losing a little bit of weight with those supplements, but even doing all of the things, being on my Peloton every day, I used to go to Orange Theory, all of those, the weight just wasn't coming off. And a lot of it was stress, it was inflammation. And I had metabolic disease and a lot of insulin resistance as well. And then also in my operating room, I'd see these patients on my table for all these chronic diseases that are preventable, and we see them at the end, right? Treating them. And it starts to wear on you when you're a provider because you're like, what is out there for people to start preventing this disease and keep them off our operating room table for their vascular surgeries, their open heart surgeries, joint replacements, right? So long story short, I learned about GLP-1s and about peptides. I thought they were amazing. I was like, this is revolutionary. A friend of mine had lost a lot of weight herself. She owns a med spa in Madison, Wisconsin. And I was like, okay, you look fantastic. She was telling me about the science. And I was like, I need to try this myself. I lost 50 pounds, but beyond that weight loss though, and the inflammation, it helped heal me from the inside out metabolically, my mental health, chronic pain started going away. And the really happy part of my story is I am now pregnant. I'm 42 years old. I'm expecting a little girl in about 7 weeks. That's why I'm out of breath all the time. Um, but I share all of that. There is so much data coming out about inflammation and how these GLP-1s also help with fertility. They help with egg quality. NAD is amazing for egg quality. So we took a little break from, IVF. I really got myself into some of the best health I've been in, lost the weight. And I think that was a huge reason I was able to get pregnant with this last like Hail Mary round, where I was like, our journey is done. And we had had so many failures. I was like, if this doesn't work now, I'm closing this chapter. And I was okay with that. I was at peace with it. And then lo and behold, we got that positive pregnancy test and the pregnancy kept progressing. It's just been so exciting. We call the baby Joy because that's the name of our team is Team Joy. So I'm a huge advocate of it, right? And beyond all of this too, just even from the business side of things as well. I always have to talk about that a little bit because it's something that has changed so many people's lives. And really, because these stories are so profound, right? You heard Beth's story, you heard from Dr. Sky, we've heard the testimonials in the room. It's very natural for people to have these stories and then want to share it with other people as well. And that's what I always thought was so smart about it is when our CEO created this company, she had a choice. And she wanted to create a longevity telehealth company because she saw that as the future. And I was like, what a great time to be alive that I'm 42. I'm going to be an older mom, right? But I have all of these peptides and I have this regenerative health as a tool so I can be the kind of mom I want to be for her despite my age, right? And take good care of myself, So she created this platform and she could have done Google ads. She could have hired a big marketing firm, but she wanted to use word of mouth and she wanted to empower regular people to share their stories, the use of referral links, building a community, building a network. And I just thought that was so smart. And I was like, I have to be part of this. It brought wonderful people to my life, like all of you guys, Cindy putting this amazing event together, Dr. Sky, all of her amazing knowledge. Beth, who's been a mentor of mine for many, many years. And it's been just a full circle moment. So I just appreciate you guys coming, listening to my story. I will hang out if you guys have any questions. But yeah, that's my story with it.
Thank you so much, Sarah.
Congratulations.
We've been hearing from a lot of women tonight, but it's not just about menopause and women in the room. Men have their peptides as well. I'm going to actually ask my husband, Scott, to come up and
it's pretty cool. Absolutely everything. Like we work out together in the morning. Like we do our own different things, but she eats right. She ate right. She worked out. She did everything, hydrated, everything like that. And I mean, she was just fighting a battle that she wasn't. It was just like kind of playing not to lose. It's like fighting for the tie, I guess. And so it was just that this was a push she needed, and she so deserves it because it regained a confidence in her that she was missing for a while, which is just, it was awesome to see. Because again, when you watch somebody work real hard and they're not getting the result they want, there's a reason for that. And it turns out the reason for that was she needed a little bit of a push. For me, we were down in Florida for what was supposed to be a parents' weekend, and our son was kind enough to get strep throat that weekend. So we delivered medicine and food and left. So I took a ride with Cindy. We went and we met everybody. And my whole thing was I went to there was a barbershop there. I'm not sitting and listening to this because, I didn't need to do that. And I went and got a haircut, and then I sat at the bar and it was in a Mexican restaurant. And then at the end, Cindy introduced me to a couple people, and I met this a functional medicine doctor that we actually are still very much in touch with. And I was just telling her about my stuff, about my issues. I mean, I'm healthy, but I inherited cholesterol from my mom's side and triglycerides from my dad's side, and not so great. And I also who got the cardiac calcium test? Yeah, I got it done too, and I'm like, and I didn't know what I was reading, and my doctor that I used at the time, he said, "Did you see the results?" I was driving, he says, "Yeah." I said, "What does it mean?" I said, "I don't know what I'm looking at." And he said, "It means that you're in the 95th percentile." He said, "On the wrong side." I'm like, "Oh." But like he said, your health markers are great, and take a baby aspirin a day, and that's all you're gonna do. And then, so we met this functional medicine doctor, and she said to me, I said, "Am I stuck with that? Like, is this what my journey is?" And she said that. So she talked about NAD, and she don't make any medical claims or anything like that, but said it's going to help. It helps with cardiovascular inflammation. It helps with inflammation all over your body. And for me, I'm sold. So that's all I needed to hear. So we ordered it, and I started with the nasal spray with it. And I remember calling Cindy that the first day I did it, because I'm I guess a little bit ADHD-ish. Ish. Stop. That's not right. We're in one place here. Anyway, so and this is cool, by the way. I'm talking in front of one of my former students. So yeah, which is awesome. I've known her since she was tiny, which is great. So the first day that I took it was like I felt something that I hadn't felt since the only other time was I took for the first time Advil, cold and sinus, and that calmed me down when I took it. So if anybody's a golfer in here, I until NAD plus, when I would go golf on Sundays, I would take an Advil, cold and sinus before the round, and I didn't have anything wrong with me. I took an Advil, cold and sinus before the round, and then 9 holes in, I took the next one, and it allowed me to not need all the different marks on the ball so that I can focus on it. But I don't need that anymore. Like, I don't need it. NAD has been amazing for me, focus-wise. What's going on the inside, inflammation-wise, I guess future health tests will tell, and future screens will tell, and things like that. I also did BPC for a while. We're out of that one now. The methylene blue for me, I can't wait for that. Like that speaks volumes to me, because it's even more focus. I'm also because of a thyroid marker that came up, or she's got me micro dosing semaglutide. I didn't. That's for me. I was nervous about, because I don't want to lose any weight. Like I'm where I've been for a while, and I don't want to lose. She said the amount that you're taking, that's not going to be the case. If you notice it's a problem, stop taking it. But I mean, all of the other markers that helps improve longevity-wise, health-wise for me. She said, "What's your goal health-wise?" I said, "No doctors, no medicine." Like I don't want any of that. And I want to stay out of a doctor's office as much as I can, except for chiropractor's office. I don't mind going there. But so for me, this has been great so far. I wake up feeling great every day. I mean, she thinks I'm nuts. I cold plunge every morning outside. It's awesome for me personally, but that's all in the health routine that I'm in. But it's the peptides that I'm using, and I want to use more. It's just, I mean, it's been phenomenal. So guys wise, if you're looking, there are things that I sit and hear all the the Zoom talks and things every night, and end up leaving after, because it's the same. My son and I are like, when can we go to the gym tonight? So that's what we're going. I'm 53. I'm going on 54 in 10 days, and it's going to be 8 o'clock, and we're heading to the gym, and I'm like ready to roll, and I can't wait. A lot of that is because of the health regimen that the boss has had me on. So I follow what the boss says, and if I don't believe her, she says, ask so and so, and I ask our doctor, and she says, yeah, she's right. So then you get the I told you so. So anyway, thanks for listening.
Okay, we have raffles, we have gifts. Thank you guys for coming out, and we thought we'd give you a little gift. So how are we doing the raffle? I know you said.
Let's just ask, I'll interrupt you 1 second, just see if anybody has any questions for either Dr. Sky or Sarah, who are both still on Zoom.
Any specific questions about any of the peptides? Brad.
So what's in the medications beyond the GLP-1 medicines? So, I mean, there's the different compounds in GLP-1s, the semaglutide, PhillyPeptide, but what else is in the vial that's going in there?
That's it.
So it's just a compounded GLP-1.
So we can get
12 in there.
It's
B12.
right, different.
Because when I heard the different types, the one that sticks out is the one that makes you pee blue. So like, is that just one of the?
That's a capsule. It's in
Okay.
a capsule form, and we actually just released that last week. And it was delivered yesterday. It's in our cabinet, so you can take that.
So you should share that. There's a
I can't
miracle.
wait to pea blue. I think it's going to be so cool.
But Sid, tell them that the thing that we listened to on the car ride down last week, that podcast that you did with Dr.
Oh, Dr. Pensa.
Yeah, that'll tell you all about, like, apparently that's a methylene blue, something they said has been around for 150 years. And that just the studies around it are amazing, so.
Yes, and if you're peeing blue, it means that your body's absorbing it properly. But if you're pooping blue, then that's a problem. It's not absorbing it, that's what metabolic dysfunction going on. But we can share that podcast with anybody who's interested in listening to it. It was really good. We listened to it the other day. So, yeah, the GLP-1 GIP, since it is compounded at our 503A compounding pharmacy, which is sterile, medical grade, triple filtered for potency and sterility. But in order to be compliant, it has to have something else mixed with it. So there is like a touch of B12 that they put in there just to make it commercially different from the main brands. But that is it.
Is it the same compounding pharmacy each time, or do they use
It
different?
is, we have a dedicated compounding pharmacy that's just for LEMD. So it's all, they're very, strict with all of their testing and their potency, and they have certifications. And if they see anything, every single batch, every single time, every single vial is tested. If there's even one marker that is off, that entire batch is discarded. Actually, Stacy and I were in Florida for an event with Ellie, and our founder and CEO, Honey Sagari, was there, and also our pharmacy, the owner of the pharmacy, came and he was speaking to us, and he explained to us, which we thought was really fascinating, that as far as compounded GLP-1s go, even the name brands are also compounded because they all come from very specific places in China, right? So there are compounding pharmacies there, and they have the powder form. He said there's about 2,000 different companies. Of those 2,000, there are 3 that actually are the highest quality and really are like sterile and proper. So where our compounding pharmacy gets theirs from is the same place that the name brands get theirs from. So it all comes in a powder form when it gets here, and then it has to be compounded somehow. But the name brands they do it. Options, if not for those, you can choose glycinate and L-theanine, I believe. And there's different benefits for both. So you have the ability to choose. You had an idea with carbs. I'm not sure, because otherwise I'll just do birthdays and stuff. So how are you?
So,
I understand the numbers you associated with this,
Yes.
but how are we associated with our guests?
No.
Okay.
Let me
The day after.
Would you like your husband to have?
He's kidding. He's not a December birthday.
How do you know? There's one up there. January, do we have less than 2? Your January?
January winner. There's no way we're gonna have more than one February, are we? One February? You can't have two birthdays. You can't have two birthdays. And then if anyone is interested, the person who invited you here does have something for you if you're interested in ordering. If you want to know more about the business and joining a team, you can touch base with any of us about that as well. Anything else you'd like to say or?
I was going to share a little bit about my testimony,
Oh,
but I know you've heard so many times, you don't need to hear mine. So just, thank you all for coming out today. I appreciate it very much.
Good night.
Bye, Dr. Sky.
Bye. We love you. Great job. Bye.